sister, sit and store what I'm about to preach on. Damn, sister, close the door. Watch what you step out on. I said, hey, sister, so before you become a sin, I said, hey, sister, there is more, even if you think there isn't. When you live your life day to day, there will always be obstacles in your way. But don't let that get you down, girl.
Hey, sister.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the best day of the entire year.
It's her birthday.
It's my birthday.
Today we celebrate Nadia. Birthday girl. Woohoo.
Thank you. Thank you. Do my queenly wave and everything, you know. Ta-ra, ta-ra. But yes, exactly. I was telling my husband somewhere around midnight when, all the singing was happening in the house. I was like, when I was young, I was hoping that I would never lose that birthday feeling, that I wouldn't become one of those old people that say, oh, it's just another day, I mean, when I was like 5, old was 20, right?
Right.
And then I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I do have the birthday feeling. Yes.
It's all about celebrating every win and believing in your mind that it's a celebration of life. And it is. And we're celebrating you being born today. That's a celebration.
Exactly. Someone had asked, like, what's your favorite holiday? And I always used to say my birthday. And I would celebrate from the 1st of March until the 4th of April because that was my due date.
Oh, well, there you go. So you could have been born any time in there. And for that, we celebrate.
All of it. It's all mine.
I love it. Yes. Every day from that time is your day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful.
But
well,
thank
cheers
you
to you on your special day. And as I wrote in our little conversation link that we have with all of our sisters, I said, I hope today is as special as you are to everyone who has the privilege to know you. So may your day be so special, just like you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for all the everything. But thank you, Vallye, for those special words. And I'm learning to just say thank you and not to, disqualify compliments. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Oh, my dear. No, we've been talking about me, which is ironic because we usually don't. I've been asking everybody about themselves, but and I'm beginning to feel a bit of that discomfort that everybody else talks about.
Sure, but today's your day, so we should have led with that too. So perfect. I think so.
But now I get to turn the table right back around and ask you, my dear Vallye, to tell us about yourself.
Sure. So, hey, everybody. So excited to be live today for this amazing 30 days of HERstory with Nadia and everyone who's watching. My name is Vallye Adams, and I'm just me. I'm Vallye. I have an amazing family. I have 3 beautiful children, a husband of 23 years. I live in Tampa, Florida. I was born and raised in the state of Florida, so I'm a true blue Floridian, always have been, kind of getting that itch to maybe move to another state just to experience another state to live in because there's so many wonderful places to live. I am 46 years old and I have had an amazing life. I'm currently an entrepreneur. I started my own consulting firm, which is now a national, pretty much an international consulting firm as I work with Nadia and her team in Canada. Super proud of that. And my firm is the name of my company is called Edivel Solutions. And a lot of people look at that and they say, Edivel, or how do you pronounce that? Or what does that mean? And I say, well, the company theme is if you look at things just a little differently, we have the solutions to help you elevate your revenue, enhance your events, and expand your mission. And so I'm very proud to work with nonprofits around the country and around the world to elevate their revenue. And elevate is the key word. And so Edivel Solutions is actually elevate spelled backwards. And so a lot of enjoyment and working with incredible nonprofits around the world and have incredible missions. And I help them. I help them elevate. I help them enhance their events. I love events so much so that in my many years of working with nonprofits, over almost 12 now, I've traveled the country and I have seen that nonprofits needed help making that outreach and making that ask. And so a very fun fact about me, which Nadia knows, but it always gets everyone to chuckle a little bit and give a little laugh, right? Is I'm actually a licensed female auctioneer and MC. And in 38 states in the US, you are required to have a license to be an auctioneer, even for nonprofits and benefit fundraising events. And so I'm one of the few female auctioneers and super proud of it. And I love that. And I love traveling around and meeting new people. As you might see, I'm a people person. I love people. I love just engaging with great missions and basically helping people make a difference. And so that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and before we jump into any responses on that, tell us about your book, please.
Oh, yes. So last year, I had this amazing opportunity to collaborate with 15 women, including myself, on a book. And we did a book collaboration. I actually have it right here. It's called Yes, I Can. And it's 16 success secrets from inspiring women around the world. And it truly was an inspiring endeavor for myself. I tell people that I never had it on my bucket list or on my list of dreams to be an author. I know a lot of people do, and I truly admire that. But the opportunity presented itself to me last year, and it was right at the start of the pandemic. And I said, okay, why not? And what an incredible opportunity and an adventure it was to collaborate with 15 women literally from around the world. And now I have 15 amazing female friends that are in Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, everywhere. And we had such an amazing time putting this together. And it did become an international bestseller. I believe it hit #1 in 8 different countries. And then it was in the top 25 in, I think, 21 countries. So it was just an incredible journey. I know it was so fun. And really what was most important to me was the journey of meeting the other women and hearing their success secrets and their empowering and inspiring stories. And that really empowered and inspired me to just be a part of the project. And so, the book, it was great. I'd love to, we can talk a little bit more about it as we talk through some of your questions. But my chapter that I wrote was about strengths and how I truly believe that knowing your strengths, your internal strengths, is a superpower, and it is my superpower. And I think it's a wonderful tool. And so I wrote a little bit about my journey through life and finding myself and knowing my strengths, which then was the catalyst to me deciding and making that decision of becoming an entrepreneur and becoming a female entrepreneur and embarking on that journey. So.
And congratulations on the book and on making that a really big decision. This world of entrepreneurship, it stretches us, it calls deep within us, it pulls on things, talents we didn't know that we had, strengths we didn't know we had, resources all of a sudden appear and disappear. You know,
It's a
all
roller coaster,
sorts of
right?
shifts.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why we come together as entrepreneurs in business and entrepreneurs in nonprofit, because I strongly believe that those that are at the helm of nonprofit organizations, if they've created, are entrepreneurs. They're undertaking a massive, a fulfillment of a vision, right? And so
Absolutely.
that is, it's just that the budgets are different, right?
Yeah,
But
no, for
so much is
sure.
the same.
Absolutely.
And so we met in this space as, women who serve nonprofits. So we're entrepreneurs, we serve nonprofits, and we know that the one thing nonprofits are, most interested in is, okay, help us with fundraising. But then we understand that there's so much going on under the hood, that it's more than just the end of the process, which is the ask. But there's so much in there that we gives us opportunity to serve our clients and to be able to present them with better ways to function and streamline and create more process within their organizations. And I can't wait for to be able to unveil to everyone officially some of the work that 2114 and Edible Solutions will be doing together with our other partners to serve our nonprofit community. So stay tuned, y'all.
Stay tuned. Big things coming. The future is very bright. So very exciting. Yeah.
Yes, please. Now, thank you for that. And thank you for telling us about you and then about your business, because this has been one of our challenges as visionary women. Oh, thank you, Oliver.
Oh,
Yeah, this has been one of our challenges as visionary women, to be able to brag on ourselves and talk about ourselves and talk about, how amazing life is, and embrace these wonderful things that are happening in all these different areas and spheres of our lives. And so thank you for leading by example. And you talked about, coming into this entrepreneurship space. And you didn't have being an author on your bucket list, but yet here you are as a best-selling author. There's so many different twists and turns in our lives all throughout the growing process, but somewhere in there we start to recognize that there's more than just the haphazard passing of circumstances, and that we are driven by this vision from somewhere. In your opinion, what would you say is the importance of vision?
Sure. And I love this. And I gave this question some serious thought. And what I actually did was I looked up the definition of vision, right? And so the exact definition that I found for vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So in kind of like diving deeper into that and looking at each word individually, right? The ability. So in kind of referencing back to my book, and something that I really strongly believe in is knowing your strengths, right? The ability to think about. Ability is our strengths, right? Our abilities are our strengths that we have internally, intrinsically, the strengths that we were born with. And so thinking about, my own strengths and knowing what I wrote in the book, and the importance of knowing and leveraging and understanding each of our own strengths, my vision for my future, for myself, for my success, for my business, my vision honestly was not clear to me until the last 2017. And I mean, look, I'm not in my 20s, I'm 46. And my vision wasn't clear until I knew and truly understood my own strengths, right? And understood what those meant, and understood how to leverage them and how to apply them and how to find my own pathway to success. And so I am a big believer that the importance of vision is knowing your abilities, right? If you're going to think about or plan the future and use your incredible gift that we all have of imagination and our own wisdom, if you're going to have that ability to do that, your vision, then you need to know your strengths. It would be so helpful to know your strengths and have them. And I kind of believe, and I wrote this down, if you use your strengths or your abilities to see your vision, no pun intended, watch your vision lead to your success. And I truly believe that that is the importance of vision. And looking into that future, plan the future, using your imagination or wisdom, we can all visualize where we want to go, what we want our strengths to use as a catalyst to take us to, and what our own vision of success is. And everyone has their own vision of success and goals and what they would love out of their life. And so to me, watching and using your strengths to see that vision and watching that lead you to your success is really the importance of vision.
Yes. That, the ability, the power to act, the power to do, recognizing where you have power, that strength that you're talking about, framing that in terms of, I am empowered to do this. I'm empowered to make the right decisions. I'm empowered to, be in the right place at the right time. I'm empowered to choose friends. I'm empowered, to go one way or another. And that power to do, opens up the power for me to see, and to make sure that that alignment is there between what I see and what I do. And I'm really happy that you're, willing to say, like, I didn't have a clear vision until relatively recently.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important for our young women to understand. And we've said this a few times, but, it's always good to reiterate. There is no expectation that you have your life figured out at 14,
No.
Yes, we will encourage you to have goals and to set goals and all of these things. We will absolutely encourage you to go forward and, try. But a lot of times our vision is defined by the things we now know we need to avoid.
Exactly. Absolutely. And a lot of our vision maybe wasn't what it was. Or for me, I didn't realize until I knew my strengths and understood them exactly how I was able to get through some of the toughest and lowest parts of my life, the struggles, the trials, the tribulations. I was using my strengths the whole time, but I didn't know it. And because I didn't know that I had those strengths and that I was using them, my vision was different. My vision of myself was different. I thought for many, many, many years that I was a failure, that I had not met my goals, that I let people down. And it wasn't until I realized the true meaning of what my strengths were that I wasn't. That I had taken expectations. This vision of myself was not clear. And I'd taken expectations that were placed upon me by family or society. And those expectations were what I thought my vision was,
Right.
but it wasn't. That wasn't the right vision. And once I knew who I was and what my strengths were and what I was capable of, that changed that vision, that changed that perspective, right? If I take off my glasses, I wouldn't be able to see properly, right? So if your vision of yourself isn't aligned properly, or you don't truly know what your abilities are and what you're capable of, then how can that vision be 100% clear to you? So that's why I encouraged everyone in the book, and as part of my mantra, that right, I didn't always know. And I didn't always have this great vision of myself or my future or my business or my success. It was quite the opposite. But once I learned those strengths, and I truly believe that for everybody, once you know your abilities and what you're capable of and what they mean and how you can apply them, it's like anything else. If we learn something, great, we might learn it, but how do you apply it? How do you use it in your everyday life? I believe that will brighten that vision for you of yourself, your future, your success, your entire world. So
Yeah, at that duality of vision, the vision of myself and the vision for myself, that looking forward and looking introspectively happening at the same time. And you made the analogy about the glasses, and just at that time I was thinking, vision of myself, hadn't thought of that. It's like looking into a mirror, but you're like someone has your glasses smudged or grease all
yeah,
over it or something, and so you're seeing maybe an image, maybe an outline, maybe color you can perceive through that, but the clarity isn't there.
absolutely.
know
Absolutely. And for us, Nadia, too, like we said, like we're such visionary women in the fact that we help nonprofits, right? And so for those of you that know anything about nonprofits, you know that every nonprofit has a mission statement, right? A mission statement of what their goal is, who they are, what they do, and why they exist. So what I like to say to especially women is, what is your mission? What is your own personal mission? And that should be a part of your vision, right? Every nonprofit, most of them have a vision statement as well. So as women, right, as we celebrate Women's History Month, like let's have a mission of our own. Let's have a vision of our own of who we are and where we're going, and get that clarity of where we, of who we are, and empower ourselves and empower others. And I do talk a little bit about that in the book. In fact, my three, obviously, main things around my chapter were the strengths, but one is knowing and understanding them and leveraging them. Two was, once you know them, then build yourself what I called an SSPS, which is a strength superpower sentence, right? And that is basically taking your top 5 strengths and making a very powerful sentence of it, a mission statement of who you are, right? And what you're doing. And then the third thing is to really surround yourself with a strength success team and build yourself a strength success team of other individuals who empower you and lift you up and share in your successes and your strength, and you share in theirs. And so those are kind of my 3 bullet points with regards to the strengths. So
yes, I hope we have a Judith here, one of our sisters, reminding us as women, yes, let us make sure that we have a mission to push our vision, and make sure that we have that that's it, right? SSPS?
Yes.
Strength, power,
Strength.
yeah.
Absolutely. And so, there's the assessment that I took was the Clifton Strengths Finders. And it's one of those assessments that we all take to know our personalities or what have you, but this is to know your strengths. And it gives you your top 5 strengths, and it defines them. It explains them to you. If you want, you can look at your top 10, and it has actually 34 individual strengths, and it, based on your answers, it gives you your top, and then it defines them, and it tells you how to use them and put them to use in your life and what they mean. And it's great for teams as well. It's great for team building, and if you work with an organization, looking at everyone around you strengths to identify the different gaps and the similarities and how your team works best together. But my top 5 strengths are, my first one is, it's called woo, and it's called winning others over. So that's my number 1 strength. My number 2 is communication. My number 3 is positivity. My number 4 is includer. I like to include everyone. And my number 5 is activator. And so I'm always like ready to act.
I can see all of those, like every last one.
Well, and so I think that's great. And right. And so when they take this assessment, they'll ask, like, someone will say, like, do you agree? Is that you? And most people are like, yes, that's totally me. And then I think in the book I said, hey, before you take the test, ask some of your friends or family to jot down what they think will be your top 5 strengths and kind of compare. It's just like a fun assessment. But I did, and I have it on the wall over there. I keep looking because I encourage everyone, once you create your strength superpower sentence, like, say it, read it, print it, know it. And so mine is, I am able to win others over, right? That's my number 1 strength, by communicating in positive ways, including everyone, to build the team and then activate others so together we can reach our goals of success. So that's my strength superpower sentence.
Yes, I love that.
And I read it every day. And look, we don't always have the best days. We all go through tough times and bad days. And I think that's when it's most important to really reiterate and emphasize your strengths and that sentence and that team that you build to surround yourself with.
Yes. And this is something that I think is really important for our daughters. And I use the term daughters in its broadest sense, not only the daughters that we bear physically, but our next generation of young women, to have them to start thinking of themselves as possessors of superpowers, and start really tapping into. I tell nonprofit leaders that one of their greatest superpowers is empathy. Right? Because they didn't just see a situation and decide somebody else should fix it. They saw it and decided it had to be them.
Right.
And so for our young women to start phrasing themselves, KPIs and strengths and whatnot, it's here. And then you take that and you say, but this is my superpower.
Right.
This is what makes me stand out. This is what differentiates me. This is what, defines me. And then when we're talking to young women, now we are giving them the blank check. We're saying, okay, what are the superpowers you want to manifest? Because now here you are, we're doing it retrospectively, but now you get a chance to actually create this in your life,
Right. And build upon it now to create that vision, right?
Yes.
Maybe it's not the vision without your glasses, but it's the vision with your glasses. So it is more clear. And think about, you and I growing up and just how many times did people, or did we hear the statement of, what are your weaknesses? And how can you work on your weaknesses? And what are things that you want to be better at? No, not our weaknesses. Why are we going to focus on the things that we're not good at? Right. Why don't we look at it in a positive way and flip that and say, how can I work on the things that I'm best at? How can I make those things shine? And how can we teach our daughters and the next generation of female leaders to look at what they are good at and shine with that and lead with that and empower others with what their strengths are, not their weaknesses.
Exactly.
So I'm a big believer in that.
I agree with you, because now we're talking about highest contribution. We're not looking at lowest common denominator anymore. And now we're talking about maximizing highest contribution here in this world. What is that legacy you want to leave? What is that big stamp on the world that you want to have? Let's talk about maximize. Let's elevate. Right?
Let's elevate. That's it. Elevate is something that we can do in every aspect of our lives, every way. So
now you're talking about, taking this understanding that you have of yourself and these superpowers that you've been able to identify and to repeat them to yourself, to have that visual reminder and, use your mouth to vocalize it so that you hear it and you can really embody this. And you talk about the journey of coming to that and how it wasn't just overnight and you weren't just born miraculously this amazing, and it was a process and a journey throughout this journey and this coming into knowing yourself. Um, are you able to talk about any times where you felt as though your voice had been diminished or silenced throughout this growing for you?
I mean, I think there was always times where my voice was silenced. And a lot of it maybe in the professional realm. And a lot of it because at the time, personally, I chose when my voice was silenced personally, it was because I chose for it to be silenced. I'm a very outspoken person, and there's not a lot of times where I have a lack of words, so to speak. I'm a talker. And I definitely, I don't like to be silenced. I've always been like that strong, but there have been times where to my detriment, or, I had to make that choice that I silenced myself. I would say it was in the professional realm, in my past jobs where as a female, it wasn't looked upon as respectable for women to voice their opinions, especially in a male dominated world, in the corporate world. And that was very uncomfortable for me. And I think that looking at my vision of what I wanted for myself and my future and my success, I made that choice, which isn't easy and it isn't for everybody, but I made that choice that I wasn't going to accept that. Yeah. And I was going to find a place for myself where I could use my voice, and not just use my voice, but use my voice to make a difference and to make an impact and to empower others to make an impact. And so if that answers, I think that's kind of where I was at. It was never, it was never comfortable for me. And whether it was that I was always that activator, I was always striving to go to that next level and reach the top, to, work my way up the corporate ladder. And a lot of times when I voiced my opinion, it was like, well, step down there, honey. Like this. And I just was that wasn't where I wanted to be. So I found my way and I learned part of my journey, right? It's a learning process. And of course, sometimes we take one step forward and 3 steps back. And that is part of the journey. And that's part of the learning process. And we all have been there. And I guess the biggest learning process for me is that once I took those 3 steps back, I needed to take that 4 steps forward again. And I had to keep going and never give up. And if I was silenced, then I took it, but then I found another way to voice, and maybe it wasn't verbally, but there was another way for me to express my thoughts, my opinions. And then internally, I found a way to, I guess, branch out and grow. And now look, I have my own business and I'm working with organizations around the world. And also, I guess you can really say I found my voice in that. I mean, I'm an auctioneer. I stand on stage with a microphone, and
that's a lot of words per minute.
So it was kind of like, if you're going to try to keep me quiet, that's not going to work, because now I'm going to find a way that I can be even louder. And I'm not just going to stand on stage and, a bit of 20, 30, 40. No. That's not my goal or my vision. My goal or vision is to stand on that stage and say, ladies and gentlemen, here is how you can make a difference. Here is how you are going to change the world and change lives and impact those around you. That is my voice. And that is how, someday I want my voice to be remembered and to be my legacy.
Yeah, you are literally licensed to use your voice.
I am, right? If you try to silence me, I'm just going to go and get a license that says I can talk anyway. That is kind of how I took that.
Yeah. But, going back to that point you made earlier on, choosing to accept the silencing for the moment, but then finding another way to make sure that your opinion and your feelings are expressed. I think that is very poignant. And honestly, it is a reflection of the navigation, the constant navigating that women have to be aware of doing that other, well, other people, men don't have to do in the corporate world, and then you have women in these intersectional groups, women of color, young women, immigrant women, LGBTQ2S women, all of these different groups of women that face these then multiple layers of silencing and having to navigate all of them simultaneously. But that ability, again, going back to that first word, to see past it and to say, okay, well, the structure is so that I'm not heard here. Where can I either reposition or restructure so that I am heard? And I was talking recently to a young woman, and we were talking about this concept of voice. And I was saying, our choosing our words should be about strategy, not about fear. It should be about using the right words at the right time with the right group of people, but not about being concerned that our words coming out of our mouths will be rejected. And when we are able to position ourselves in a way that we can be strategic about our words, now our voice is empowered because we are making the choices. We choose to be silent. We choose to speak. We choose to speak loudly. We choose to speak quietly. We choose to speak a lot. We choose to speak with fewer words. It then becomes about our choice and not fear of perception, fear of rejection, or any of these other layers of fear that we are constantly navigating through. So I really wanted to pull that out, that repositioning, and ensuring that spaces are created where our voices can be heard.
And I think too, that's where I find it in myself and I see it in others, is that if you build that strength success team and you surround yourself with, and as you're navigating, as you're navigating these waters and you're trying to figure out how to not be silenced or how to find your vision and how to, where best to use your voice. If you have a team of like-minded people that believe in you, that believe in your strengths, and you believe in them and you believe in their strengths, that is going to help crush that fear. First of all, it's going to lift you, it's going to empower you, and it's going to inspire you to find what that is, whether it's the navigating, whether it's the voice, the vision, making that vision clear. And I feel that if you can really build that team, especially us women, if we build the team around us of women that support us, that lift us up, just like what we're doing today. We have this incredible team of women this month, and with HERstory of women that we all inspire each other. And so I find that that should be part of the journey, and it will help us navigate those waters, but we can do it together.
Absolutely. And that's why we have the mastermind formats. And to those of you who don't know, now you know. Vallye is one of our mastermind facilitators throughout this year in HERstory, going deeper with our members in these conversations on vision, voice, version, and victory, because it is so crucial for us. As visionary women, we are not the ones to be silenced. You know what I mean? Like our minds are way out there. Where we're trying to go, what we're trying to build, it's massive, and it's very difficult sometimes to, put that in enough of a little box that people can understand. And so we need to be around big, gigantic thinkers. So that when we use certain words, it doesn't sound like hyperbole. Somebody understands, oh, wait a minute, she does mean global. Like literally, that's what she's talking about. She does mean regional. She does mean international. She is not kidding about that word.
No. And I think that if we get to share that, just like I said with the book, I mean, it wasn't about me being an author. It was about me working and collaborating and sharing with women to inspire each other and to empower each other. And I think that since we have this great opportunity to share, you never know that one word or one opportunity to share something, like you said to me earlier, well, thanks for sharing about yourself, and thanks for sharing about the book. I mean, if one person is watching right now, or one person reads the book, or one person hears one of our masterminds this year, and it makes a difference in their life, there we go. Then we've done our job. Like I believe that's our job, is to share and inspire and empower others to be the best they can be, and to help them in their journey too. And trust me, I mean, I have an amazing group of females, women, friends, family that are my strength success team, right? That I've surrounded myself with. And I definitely haven't gotten to where I am today by myself. And I couldn't have done it without my friends and my family and incredible women and leaders like yourself and our team. And it's a full team effort. So I truly believe that.
Absolutely. And now you are an author. You can say that with, you can beam with all the pride that comes with knowing the work that went into it, knowing the heart and care that went into it. You took that time to sit down, to formulate, to present, to write. And you're giving us these really amazing tools and tips that we can implement in our lives, and not just, really good advice, but things that we can actually use. And then we come to this idea that ability to write, that empowerment to sit down and formulate, you can take that same talent and take control of the narrative of the story of Vallye's life. You can determine the version of the story that is told for you. How does that make you feel?
It was scary. I'm not going to lie. It was scary. And I give some information in the book that I have to say probably a lot of friends and family didn't know. So it wasn't easy. But again, I felt that if there was any way for me to inspire and empower others that might need that particular word of advice or wisdom or just suggestion at that moment in their life, especially when it comes to helping people truly understand that knowing their strengths can really help them and give them this power that they don't understand that they have. I mean, if I would have known 20 years prior to when things could be very different for me. Right. So, but now doing it and having that and taking control of that narrative, it feels amazing. It feels like a weight is lifted off my shoulders, especially going from living a life of feeling that you've let people down and that you were a failure, to living a life of, no, I'm not a failure. I'm not a failure, and I am successful, and I haven't let people down. And that just putting those expectations on myself and not having that clear vision and true understanding of what my abilities are, it gave me power. It gave me that superpower. So how I feel is just a weight lifted, and just it inspired me to continue to help inspire others, if that's possible.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh. And it was nerve-wracking and scary, and then it became a weight lifted off. And many of us are covered by these weights. A young woman reached out to me earlier this week, and she was talking about this epiphany that she had, that sometimes we want to get something really simple but small, and it's covered over by heavy stuff. And we struggle with, how do we remove the heavy thing, knowing that it's the small, simple golden nugget under there that we actually really need. And some of us are just so covered by the old stories, by other people's stories and their, perspectives of us and their perceptions. We are covered by, what we thought we should have been doing, and, measuring up to somebody else's measuring stick.
Yeah.
We're covered over by the mistakes of our past. That honestly, girlfriend, just live a few more years and you'll realize, oh, that mistake actually had a purpose, but we're covered over by all of these things, and they weigh us down. And it's scary. Thinking about the process of becoming free is a really scary, because it requires work. It
Yeah.
requires us to put in the work. It really does. But what's waiting on the other end? That release, that knowing that it's off, it's no longer sitting on our shoulders, sitting on our chest, weighing down our stomachs, the headache is gone. It's worth it. It's worth the hard work.
It is. It's so worth it in the end. And again, just to, I think I put in somewhere where I was interviewed, I think I felt like a balloon bursting filled with confetti. Like that's truly how I felt with the whole process and the whole ability to release that, and to, it's almost like that saying, like, okay, the light bulb went off, right? Like the light bulb went off. And after all of those years, the light bulb went off for me. And I really would love for other women and just everyone to have their light bulb go off and understand who they are and what they're capable of and what their strengths are, and how it can really truly lead them to whatever their journey of success is. So it was great.
And so now you're living this life. You started off, you talked about how amazing your family is. You talk about your success team, and you have friends and family in your success team. You talk about all of this newness of life, this new trajectory where you're not bothered by these old things in your mind that used to look at yourself as a failure. You're done with that because you know who you are now. You know where you're strong. And to me, it sounds like this life that so many of us want, right? This victory in the living, not a moment of victory, but a life of victory. And can you tell us, when you hear a word like victory that's not often used in conversations with women, what comes to your mind? What's the image that word paints in your mind?
Well, it's an image of me just going, woo, right? Like just literally going, woo. And it's so funny because, when I do auction events, like I'm very much energetic. You can see that, I'm sure, to feel that. And my daughter actually helped me do a little reel of one of a couple of different events that I did. And she said, Mom, I could do a whole 40-second reel of just you going, woo! Like we could do just that. And that would be that's all we would see is you yelling and wooing. And I was like, oh, well, so to me, I guess that's the image that comes to mind when you say victory, of me just yelping for joy and happiness. And quite honestly, like an actual image too would be just a group of people celebrating and just joyous and happy and cheering and laughing. And to me, that's the image of victory. And I think that is an imagery of, a group or a lot of people being victorious together. And I love that. Obviously, one of my strengths is includer. And so I'm really big on team and including everybody. And so I see that, but I also encourage people to look inside and internal for their own victory. And, like I said, not every day is perfect, and not every situation is, as we would want or hope or expect. And we all go through trials and tribulations in our life. And I know recently I told my own 19-year-old daughter, look, I know this is easier said than done. And I still try to do it myself, but we have to celebrate every win, celebrate every victory, no matter how small. And if you focus on the things that weigh you down, like you said, that sit on your shoulder and sit on your chest and if you focus on those and you think about those and you dwell in those, instead of that, if you could turn that and focus on, even if you think it was just the smallest win, just focus on that. And so to me, I think it's just as important to visualize victory. Remember our vision, and to visualize that image of victory, either internally in even the smallest way, or as a group and as a team and as a world, all of us coming together victoriously and celebrating and smiling and joy and laughter and accomplishment and empowerment, and celebrating that. So
absolutely. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Vallye, for doing this with me today, for going deeper, for connecting, for opening up and sharing, and for giving us, like I said, these really helpful, implementable, actionable tools that, we can now go out and, go find our top 5 strengths and put that into a sentence and formulate our strength and success team, and really brag about our superpowers, which again, this is a really hard thing for us as visionary women to do. And so thank you for that. And and thank you for your yes, to come on board as a facilitator and connect with our women in this community. I really appreciate you doing that. And I welcome all of our visionary women to come into the membership so that you can spend more time with amazing women like Vallye. You've met Elle, you've met Sophia, you've met Sumaya, you've seen way too much of me, but come on in and go deeper with us in these mastermind sessions. All of our members tap into 5 masterminds every month by 5 different phenomenal and amazing women. And Vallye, thank you once again for bringing your energy and your woo and your and your light to this space to encourage our visionary women in our membership program. Thank you.
Oh, my privilege. It's an honor. I so look forward to continuing this journey. And, I love people, and I love women, and I love all of us coming together and supporting and empowering each other to be the very best that we can be. So I look forward to meeting you and to taking this journey with everyone out there. So it was an honor and a privilege to celebrate today, and to celebrate Nadia's special day, the day she was given to us. And so we're so grateful for you, and just woo! All right. I really enjoyed it. So
wonderful. So sisters, you can check below the video or above. I'm not sure if you're on Facebook, it's above, and on YouTube, it's below. Check the description for a link to Vallye's website so that you can learn more about her and what she does. And especially if you're a nonprofit leader, you need to click the website. And also there is a link to our, thank you, Judith, for the birthday wishes. Also, there is a link to register for the mastermind membership group that we have here at HERstory. And we have an event coming up. Vallye loves events. We have an event coming up in April. It's called Hey Sister, Let's Color. And it's literally that. We're literally going to come onto Zoom and color together. And it is going to be a really great event. Thank you, Judith. This was a great conversation to have here with Vallye today. And in our event, we are going to be talking about the affirmations that are in the Soulful coloring book, which was authored and curated by our lovely Sophia Sojay Jackson, who's the voice that you've heard behind in our videos, that lovely, sultry, soulful voice. Yes.
Oh, love it.
That is our multi-talented, dynamic, soulful sister, Sophia. And she is also a mental health child and youth worker, and also a financial specialist. And so she's able to have these conversations around financial wellness as a mental wellness conversation. And so we're bringing all of that together and bringing all of that to you in a really calm, soothing environment, because we're just going to color together and talk about these affirmations, talk about these images. Just to give an example, in we did this event, a small version of this event in January, and we were looking at an image. The affirmation accompanying it was, "I am unique, I am comfortable, I am a gift." And she talked about, this external object as her favorite pair of socks. And these were the words she used to describe her favorite pair of socks. And then she was challenged to use those words, a gift, comfortable, and unique, to refer to herself. And so we all chose an inanimate external object, and we described this object, and then we internalized these compliments that we're so willing to give compliments to things that aren't even alive. And then to be challenged to internalize the compliment and apply it to ourselves was very, very powerful, very illuminating. It was a fantastic moment to share with so many other beautiful, beautifully spirited women on that call. And all of that is in support of the Beautiful Foundation. We are so happy and proud to be able to partner with the Beautiful Foundation throughout 2021. This is an organization that has a mission that really touches me personally, because I remember those times where I felt unbeautiful. My circumstance was not beautiful. My finances weren't beautiful. My living situation wasn't beautiful. Nothing was beautiful. Nothing from the outside looking in. And to have someone who could look and say, "Hey, sister, I see the beautiful in you. I see the circumstance too. We're not going to pretend it's not happening. I see it too, but I see you. I am not looking at you with, greasy glasses. I am looking at you clearly, and I'm looking beyond what is visible right now." And so working with women and children who are overcoming the trauma of abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, financial abuse, all different layers of abuse that they have had to work through, these, again, mirroring layers of trauma to overcoming substance abuse, and being able to reaffirm themselves and love themselves enough to maintain their sobriety, to work with women who are in shelters, women who are incarcerated, women who have found themselves in situations led by their decisions, led by circumstance, but where they find themselves today is not a beautiful moment. Right. But the Beautiful Foundation comes in and makes an exchange. They say, "Hey, beauty for ashes. I'll take this piece, I'll give you this piece, and I'll walk with you throughout the process." It's literally beautiful to watch. Yeah.
Perfect description. That's great. Yep. Yeah. We're very proud to work with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you again, all of our sisters who've been with us every day. This is 24 days so far. It's super awesome.
So amazing. It's so great. It's so great. Yes. It's been wonderful.
Yes, and we will be back tomorrow, as we promised you, with another conversation and another amazing lady talking about vision, voice, version, and victory. Thank you all for joining us today. Vallye, do you have any words of wisdom to leave before we say goodbye this afternoon?
Know your strengths. Find, understand, leverage your strengths. They will be your superpower. I do believe that. And listen, let's elevate. Let's elevate together. I look forward to meeting you. Please reach out to me. If it's just anything to say, "Hey, I know my strengths." I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know your strengths, meet you. Or if you have questions about anything regarding how to elevate your nonprofit, your business, anything, I'd love to meet you. And thank you so much, Nadia, for having me today. So
awesome. Thank you, Vallye. Thanks, ladies. We will see you back here tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Enjoy your afternoon.
Hey, sister, sitting store, what am I about to preach on? Damn, sister, close the door. Watch what you step out on. I said, hey, sister, so before you become a sin, I said, hey, sister, there is more, even if you think there isn't. When you live your life day to day, there will always be obstacles in your way.